All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I'm Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk about Bitcoin, the Bitcoin miners, and I want to go through what happened last week. So it's been a long weekend in the US and Canada. So I want to go through last week as we get started on this week. I'm also going to talk about this chart. This is a chart that goes through Bitcoin by month since its inception, and September has been a historically bad month. I want to tell everybody, don't be fooled. I'm going to give you my opinion on this chart later in the video. So in the meantime, I have all of my normal charts to go through for last week. So let's get started. Let's take a look at what happened with Bitcoin and with the Bitcoin miners. Okay, the very first chart, this is week over week. So this is what happened to the Bitcoin miners last week, and you're going to see Bitcoin on this chart as well. So let's start there. Bitcoin is in gold, as always, down 1%. This is now 7 weeks in a row that Bitcoin has been either sideways or trending downward. There has been a very rough 7-week stretch here. So this is yet another week. But what I do want to point out, if we look at this week in particular, this was for the Bitcoin miners, a very sideways week and even actually a big green week for a few of the miners. So Grayscale won their court case. There was a massive reaction to that. So you might call it an overreaction to the upside immediately for one day. We then pulled back as people tended to start to realize, even though this is a good thing, and I do think it was a very good thing, nothing instantly is happening. This didn't turn the Bitcoin Grayscale Trust into an ETF overnight. So I actually think the initial reaction was more accurate than the follow-up pullback that happened after this. So I think that's the fake out, in my opinion. We'll talk more about that later. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so that you never miss a video. Thank you so much. But what I really want to point out is if you look at this chart, the vast majority of these Bitcoin miners are very close to zero. They are almost all in the green. So we'll quickly talk about a few exceptions. BitDeer is down 9%. BitDeer's been an overachiever for this entire 7-week run while everything else has been going down. Stronghold down 9% as well. That is a nano cap stock, so hard to determine exactly what that means. BitDigital was down 2%. That underperformed. A lot of these had a roller coaster ride throughout the week, but you're going to see when the dust settled and all was said and done, most of these had very, very small reactions. And even if you keep going, the one thing that did have an outsized move this week, and I really want to spend just 1 minute talking about this, Mawson finished the week up 49%, and that was way off of its highs. So I would like to say that we did talk about this last Tuesday in our members only chat. We talked about this at great length. We talked about the fact that it looked like, in my opinion, it looked like Mawson was due for a very quick potential double, maybe more. It did ultimately, from the bottom to the top, go up more than 100%. So we did call that out on the members only Discord. We try to find opportunities like this inside of what has been a rough 7 weeks and a little bit of a boring 7 weeks for a lot of people. You know, there are some opportunities. So right next to the subscribe button on your YouTube page, you'll see a join button. If you hit that join button, you can become a member, like I said, for only $5 a month. We do have a once a week members only live stream every Tuesday after the market closes. In addition to that, we have a members only Discord. So like I said, these are the types of things we discuss in the members only section. So I just want to take a second to thank all the existing members, much appreciated, and welcome to any new members should you choose to join. Okay, so really this was the big outlier of the week, up 49%. But there were a few others that performed well. Marathon, you're going to see, was up 14%. So Bitcoin down 1%, Marathon up 14%. That is a big move. Marathon's been the second biggest Bitcoin miner by market cap all year this year. This move pulled them just a little bit ahead of Riot, so they are now the largest Bitcoin miner by market cap. And we're going to go through all the market caps a little bit later in this video. Bitcoin in the middle of July hit a high around 31,000. We have had 7 difficult weeks since then. So you see, in those 7 weeks, Bitcoin here in gold is down 15%. BitDeer is the only Bitcoin miner that has performed better than that. Most of these are doing what we talk about, which is being about a 3x leverage. Bitcoin's down 15%. So technically a 3x leverage from there would be 45%. You're going to see most of these are down between 34% and 45% is the vast majority of these. There are a couple that have had worse than that. DigiHost is down 52% in that 7-week period. Mawson, even after being the outperformer, up 49% this week. It's still down 71%. To me, that's why it was such an obvious call out that it was due for a little bit of a run up. Okay, the two biggest by market cap, you're going to see Riot was down 42% over the last 7 weeks. You'll see Bitfarms, Marathon, and CleanSpark all down 34%. Iris Energy down 36%. Core Scientific down 21%. These are the leaders over the last 7 weeks, but most of these are still more than a 2x leverage to the downside, even the ones that have outperformed their peers. So this 7-week period has been very, very difficult. I know retail traders have lost interest in a big way over this 7-week period. For those of you who are still here, for those of you who are still invested, congratulations. And obviously what we always fear for investors and what we try to talk about this channel, and none of this is financial advice, but a lot of these are tried and true concepts. We don't want to sell at the low and buy at the high and vice versa. So it's hard not to react or overreact to longer periods of time like 6 weeks or 7 weeks, which in the cryptocurrency world does feel like a massively long period of time. And these are big moves. So we always talk about the fact that these are highly volatile assets. These Bitcoin miners are a leverage play on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a very volatile asset itself. These are about, like I talk about, somewhere around a 3x leverage. So you'll see that play out. Okay, just to keep things in perspective, here's a quick look at year to date. Even though the last 7 weeks have been brutal, and we just saw the last chart was completely red, there was no green on it at all. Almost the reverse is true if you go year to date. Bitcoin is here up 55% in gold as always. You're gonna see almost every single Bitcoin miner has outperformed Bitcoin. So we'll just quickly mention Stronghold is up 7%, but that's massive underperformance versus Bitcoin. Argo blockchain is actually in the red, down 6%. Any is down 25%. Mawson's down 46%. So there are some companies that have struggled in 2023. But for the most part, you'll see the average company here is somewhere between like 180% and 280% up year to date. These are gigantic moves even after the pullback. So it's important to keep that in perspective. There are two that have really run away with things. Cypher's up 438% year to date. Core Scientific, on the other hand, they're up 849%, but I would caution everybody, they are in chapter 11, so we don't know what the future holds. But for those of you who have caught this run, this is almost an 850% run to the upside, even after a period of 7 weeks of difficult trading. Okay, before we get to the last chart, I want to talk about something that I know there's been an awful lot of talk about and there's an awful lot of fear about. In Bitcoin, in cryptocurrency, just mentioning the month of September creates panic in a lot of Bitcoin traders. This is a chart of Bitcoin from 2013 to 2023, and it's broken down by month. So they analyze this, how Bitcoin has performed each month of the year to look for trends. Out of the last 10 years, only 2 of those 10 years in September have been green. So 8 out of the 10 have been red, which means they've been down. That is the worst performance out of all the Bitcoin miners. The mean change over that period of time is down 6%. There's only a few months of the year that are in the red. Most months are in the green. The good news is October, November, December are absolutely spectacular months historically for Bitcoin. However, I want to debunk this just a little bit. I do think this is an exaggerated statistic. Other than back in 2014 when Bitcoin was down almost 20%, there are no gigantic moves in the month of September. So September, I think, tends to be a very low-key month. It ends up drifting a little bit downward. The 10 worst single monthly performances in the history of Bitcoin, none of them are in the month of September. This is not the disaster month that people make it out to be. Like, for instance, last year, Bitcoin was down 2.7% in the month. So, that's not a big deal. Now, to the upside, the 2 months that were green, they were not big moves up either. 7% and 4%, those are not big moves. So other than this one outlier here, mostly small moves in this month. And I will tell you, the way the trade is setting up in September, now this is my personal opinion, not financial advice, but I think there's a very strong possibility that this will be a green September. And if it's not a green September, in my opinion, it's probable we're only going to get a very small move, something like this 2.7% to the downside. So I think the reasonable, realistic trading range here in September is, somewhere between down 3% and up 5 or 6%. So I'm not very scared of September here. If there's an opportunity, I will continue to accumulate the Bitcoin miners that I have a high level of conviction in. So for those of you who are afraid of September, my personal opinion is this is very exaggerated. Yes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red years in a row going in September, but I'm not sure of the causation versus correlation here. So I just wanted to bring this up and, give you my 2 cents. I'm predicting that this is going to be green. Obviously not financial advice, but not anything to worry about in my opinion. We will check back in at the end of the month and see if I was right or wrong about this. And do me a favor, drop a comment below if you agree with me or disagree with me. I'd like to know how people feel. Are you guys afraid of September? What are your thoughts? Okay, last but not least is market cap. So this is market cap as of Friday. These are ranked 1 through 12, and you're going to see the only change on this list is between first place and second place. And you're going to see this is very, very tight. The rest of this list is in the identical order that it was in last week. No changes. So I also like to point out there are 12 Bitcoin mining companies that have a market cap of $200 million or greater. From there, the 13th largest is Argo Blockchain. That is a monumental drop off from $203 million down to $61 million. All the rest are below that. So from Argo on down, including Stronghold, DMG, Gree, DigiHost, Any, Mawson, those are the ones that I follow, and all the other ones, those are all microcap and nano cap market caps. So there's really only 12 Bitcoin miners that have any substantial amount of market cap at all. Obviously, Riot and Marathon have led the pack for years now as the two largest market caps. So we'll see over the next year or into the halving or beyond if anybody can catch these two. We'll keep our eye on that. That's another one. Let me know in the comments section. Are there any that you think stand a chance of catching or passing from a market cap standpoint? I'll tell you, I think there's 2 or 3 that stand a legitimate shot. I'm not going to mention them here. I don't want to skew you guys. I'd love to know what your opinion is. So please drop that in the comments as well. I am not afraid of the month of September. I think 25,200 is a very strong line of support. So that doesn't leave much room to the downside. I think we stand a good chance of being green in September. Let me know what you think. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and hit the notification bell. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.